I recently saw that Kent Hovind made a response video to Professor Dave where he advocates genocide, particularly against gay people.
HIV and AIDS overview. It is widely believed that HIV originated in Kinshasa, the Democratic Republic of Congo, around 1920 when HIV crossed species from chimpanzees to humans. Guess how they got it? Sex with the chimpanzees.
And do you know why that is, that the disease was able to transfer from chimpanzees to humans through sexual intercourse? It's because we're so closely related to them. Of course, he's not going to mention this, probably doesn't even realize that. But and the virus itself mutates and has evolved.
Up until the 1980s, we do not know how many people were infected with HIV or developed AIDS. HIV was unknown, and transmission was not accompanied by notable signs or symptoms. The Bible says, "Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death." That's what God had said. Didn't tell him why, just said do it. "Thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind." That's homosexuality. God said, don't do that, because that's going to be contact with feces. Duh, okay?
Okay, so you have him talking about bestiality and then immediately equating it with homosexual sex. Also, him talking about people with AIDS being asymptomatic or not showing any symptoms is going to come up again later. But first of all, that's a disgusting comparison to make. But secondly, I guess no heterosexual couple has ever had anal sex? Or what about lesbians? Also, gay men can use condoms. It is possible. It's just so narrow-minded and bigoted and ignorant to just think that it's automatically going to mean contact with feces, which is just it's not true. It's just stupid. But what else is new for Hovind? Lying and being an idiot.
Before you. Sporadic cases of AIDS were documented prior to 1970. Available data suggests the current epidemic started in the mid to late 70s. By 1980, HIV may have already spread to 5 continents: North America, South America, etc. In this period, between 100,000 and 300,000 people could have already been infected. 1981, cases of a rare lung infection were found in 5 young, previously healthy gay men in Los Angeles. At the same time, there were reports of a group of men in New York and California with unusually aggressive cancer. December 81, the first cases of CPC were reported in people who inject drugs. So who's getting this? Homosexuals, drug addicts. By the end of the year, there were 270 reported cases of severe immune deficiency among gay men. 121 of them had died. Question. Suppose, I'm just asking you to suppose, okay? Suppose at this time in 1981, they had rounded up all those people that had this disease and killed them. Killed them. Burned the bodies, bury them deep. You say, oh, it's terrible. You're picking on LGBT. No, I'm just asking, if they have a certain disease, would it have been better to kill 270 people and burn them and bury them? Well,
no. Whenever you start a sentence with, just suppose we started rounding up a certain type of people, you probably shouldn't finish that sentence because it's not going to be anything good. But first of all, I can't believe he's even suggesting this, but if you killed all those people, like, the way to develop a cure or a vaccine for the AIDS virus, you would need to be able to study the people that actually have it. And, they'd have to be alive for that. Also, there would still be chimps that have the disease that, could transfer over. And like I said earlier, there are people who are asymptomatic. How are you going to tell everyone that has it? It's just ridiculous.
Well, let's see what happened since then. In 2017, 17,000 people in the U.S. and 6 dependent areas received stage 3 AIDS diagnosis. There were 15,000 deaths from AIDS. Would it have been merciful in 1981 to kill those 270 people? Or is it better to let them live and spread it to 15,807 people who died? How about in 2018? About 1 million people died from AIDS-related illnesses worldwide. Folks, we have a problem.
No, it would not have been more merciful, and this is an argument from consequence. It's a logical fallacy. It's very easy to say that, oh, if you just would have somehow rounded up all the people that had this, from all these different continents and been able to detect, everyone that has it and just murder all of them, forget about their civil rights, or who's going to actually carry this out. But no, it wouldn't have been merciful, because God is not merciful. He's a tyrannical dick, and he's a genocidal, violent, angry, petty piece of crap. Just like you, Hovind.
God had given the way to fix it. These people that the Midianites, they were going in there to take over their land. God told Moses, tell the people, kill them all, except for the virgin females. Kill all the baby boys.
Okay, now he's equivocating AIDS with a disease that's never named from biblical times. And the reason that Moses told them to keep only the virgin females, very young children, by the way, as the war booty, was to take as sexual concubines, as sex slaves. It wasn't because, somehow only the males or young males had the diseases. Girls could get AIDS too. Like, what he's saying doesn't make any sense. It's just an excuse.
Boys. That would have completely stopped that disease. So does the Bible condone genocide? Let's see. Defend the validity of this passage. Dave, God told Moses to completely annihilate all the males and all the non-virgin females of this tribe because people were loaded with diseases because of their stupid sexual practices with anal sex and sex with animals and worshiping feces in front of their stupid God statue. God's instructions were merciful to the Midianites because they suffered from disease and transmitted them to all their baby boys. And merciful to the Jews to prevent them from becoming infected also, and merciful to the world to eradicate this disease. Dave, this was 3,000 years before viruses and bacteria were known about. This is another clear indicator that the Bible is divinely inspired and contains knowledge that was only later discovered by science. Science is slowly catching up with the Bible.
Yes, as King Crocoduck said in their debate, religion always likes to pimp scientific discoveries and act like they thought of it first. No, if the Bible was divinely inspired, then God would have written in it about infectious pathogens, about diseases, about contagious viruses, and about germs, and instead he just tells them, according to Hovind, to wash their hands, and this is supposedly divine wisdom, even though Jesus said that it's not what goes in your mouth that defiles you, it's what comes out of it, because he believed in curses. But it's just him trying to take credit for something that religion didn't discover.
You stop thinking and teaching other people that the Bible is simply a 2,000-year-old goat herder's manual. You should submit yourself to its wisdom and authority and call on God for his forgiveness before it's too late for you. Dave, you live in Los Angeles. For the 6th year in a row, you have the worst traffic in the world. You could be under a sheet facing God any day. Have you seen the way they drive in Los Angeles? Bible says, knowing this first, there shall...
What a weird, veiled threat. But I guess when you have no real argument, you just have to resort to saying, well, just wait until after you die. Then you'll see that I was right. Okay.
There shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lusts. The reason people like this evolution theory, there's no God to give them rules like you can't have sex with animals and you can't have sex with the same sex. They don't want those rules. So they reject the Bible. That's the real reason. It's because of their lust, not their science. They're going to say, where's the promise of his coming? We go through this all the time in my seminar. They're willingly ignorant of three things. How God made the heavens. There were originally three heavens. We talk about that in our seminar part 2 of my series, which you can get, well, anyway, seminar part 2. Secondly, they're ignorant of the flood that destroyed the world, and they're ignorant of the coming judgment. There's a creation about 6,000 years ago. They don't want to admit that because that would mean God owns it and he can make the rules. They don't want his rules on their life. God gives people up. You say, okay, Romans chapter 1, he gave them up to do dumb things. I think it would be dumb to go defecate in front of a statue and then burn your baby on the altar.
Yeah, Hovind seems to think that if you believe in evolution, then God gives up on you and you become gay, apparently. I guess, believing evolution turns you gay. But anyway, the rest of this video is pretty much just Hovind talking to his minions. And I can't believe they even support what he just said, but what a ridiculous video.